Hey everybody, Joe here. I got another little bit of an update for you. About 2 days ago, there was an attack on a California man in California who was beaten within an inch of his life by a crazy lunatic leftist. Right off the bat, the left had excuses. Oh, he's a former military. It was PTSD, yada, yada, yada. When in reality, it really looks like now, especially, that it was just another crazy leftist attack. It's funny to me, though, before we get into this, that the left actually likes to make excuses for military when they do things that are awful, like this particular example. But yet, these are the same people that are wishing death on our troops in Iran right now. Just absolutely amazing how they mentally flip on everything when it's their people doing awful shit, which is 99% of the time. So it never ceases to amaze me what pieces of shit they are. I guess I have no use for anybody, just like I have no use for anybody that is anti-Trump or anything like that. I don't care what party they belong to. I just don't, because I can see what he's doing. I've over the many last year, look at it like this. If you go back and look at my videos, I think some of my other channels are still up, or even from this channel, me telling people you're not going to see arrests or indictments until last year fall at the earliest, this year in the spring at the latest, and here we are seeing indictments in Florida. Arrests all over the place for all different types of things. Meanwhile, the people that have the bot followers, the big names, the Candace Owens and all these people, they were by month 3 screaming, "Where are the arrests?" While I was on my little show trying to explain to people that it's going to take time to build these cases, right? And anybody that's followed me for any amount of time can confirm this. I was right. So it is what it is. If you pay attention to Trump for more than 10 minutes, you kind of see that he's been the same guy for a long time. He's methodical with things. He's very businesslike. He likes to win, which is a great thing for a president, in my opinion. We've had presidents that love to bend over for every other country and screw this one and want to start wars that last forever, that never end, so that the military industrial complex can keep getting rich and their stocks in Congress can keep, going up because of these wars and stuff. And meanwhile, Trump goes in and out as fast as he can. Iran's taken a little bit longer than he thought, which I kind of assumed would happen. When we went into it, I said, we'll see, because these people are nuts. They're a bunch of religious fanatic pedophiles, okay? So, having said all that, it's not a shock to me that this happened. You've got the media coming out and they're constantly, Trump's a dictator, he's a pedophile. Oh, you can thank Massey, who's finally, thankfully, out of Congress, saying that Trump's the Epstein administration, even though they released all the files, but a handful, which I suspect they're holding on to for actual reasons that dipshit's own bill allowed for them to hold on to, which would be, they're investigating things. They might have found some things that were interesting in there that needed to be looked into. In which case they're holding on to them. They're not hiding anything. They're releasing files for UFOs. They're releasing files for cults. They're releasing so much shit. If Biden had done any of this, he'd have been treated like a saint for doing so. But Trump's doing it, so there's always somebody picking it apart. And when you watch these shill freak retards like Alex Jones, who has MTG on to itch her vagina because she's a loser, talking about Trump's not going to leave office, he's going to use the Iran war to stay in office. And then you have, I think it was the New York Times or something, writing an editorial based off what that retard, who they made fun of for saying Jewish space lasers for years, said. They were ops. They're shills. They're deep state actors. They're just general pieces of shit looking for their last 10 minutes of fame. You notice how you don't hear much about Joe Kent anymore because he's such a loser? I'm just saying. So anyway, having said all that, this is what we've got going on in that particular story. Sorry about the little rant there. I just get a little fed up with the stupidity. And I can tell you the internet's not real life. I just talked to a guy. He's an older biker guy. not real super political. He even acknowledged he understands why gas is high. He doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. He knows gas prices will come down when this is all said and done. Okay. I don't even know if he votes, but he definitely supports what Trump's doing over there. So this shit where these people live chronically online and suck each other's farts and spew each other's narratives and have each other on their own shows all the time, it's just pathetic, really. And I don't know why people still follow these idiots, but I guess some people like to feel like the sky is falling 24/7. They're addicted to that feeling because it makes them feel like some sort of way. And I can't imagine it. I mean, when we lived under Biden, everything was miserable all the time. There were people getting locked up for standing out front praying in front of abortion clinics. People were losing their jobs over not getting a shot. There was people losing their jobs over saying the election of 2020 was stolen, which I suspect we're about to find out it was because we already know it was. All these things people were losing their jobs over and getting fired for, getting banned from. They wanted us banned from public if we didn't get the vaccine. So then that's how they view us. There's literally, I've been added to lists on X about putting us in camps after they take back the election and things like that. I just blocked the owner after I add him to my retards who makes list. And for a few, half hour or so, then I block them. But it's over and over. These people are unhinged. They're nuts. They've been programmed by the media. They've been programmed by the Adam Schiffs. They've been programmed by retard podcasters like Hassan Piker, the people on the left, and now apparently they watch Tucker Carlson because, he's a fucking commie too, which isn't surprising. But long story short, you can expect things like that to happen where these people lose their minds and hurt people. That's why Charlie Kirk is dead, for example. So here is the one of the updates. This is the dude that did it. He looks like a Garbage Pail Kid or a Cabbage Patch Kid, one of the two. I think more like a Garbage Pail Kid, little fucking homo. He was probably a cook or a chef in the army or something like that. Or he fluffed these actual soldiers before they went out to go carry out missions. I'm not sure what he did. But this is this is what he did. He beat this man to where you can't even recognize him anymore. The man on the bottom right here, whose name is Kerry. I think it's pronounced Sheron or Sheron. The man, as you can see in the picture, had all this, Trump stuff, American flags and stuff. Happy 4th of July, just normal patriot shit that you should be able to display no matter what state you live in or who your neighbors are, right? And the guy beat him to where his wife now says that he may not live. She spoke out today. This is his wife. She speaks out as her husband fights for his life after being brutally beaten due to his pro-Trump support, which is something, as I said, the left is trying to deny. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this. And that'll pretty much be the end of the video, guys.
The doctor don't give me any he said don't have any hope.
¿Que no tiene qué?
No tiene esperanza, ¿verdad? Que está muy malo mi marido.
Vale. ¿Qué necesita María?
No. Y también un hombre se paró aquí y dijo, yo te voy a matar, y luego lo acusa de pedófilo, de todo, lo está acusando igual que a Trump, ¿eh?
¿A tu esposo?
A mi esposo pedófilo, y a mí también me han ofendido, no mucho, pero a mí.
He called him a pedophile in Me Too. Where do you think he got this shit from? Who's calling Trump a pedophile? Other leftists sucking each other's farts on the internet. It's exactly what I just said. Now, the Epstein files cleared Trump. I know some people on both sides don't want to hear that because, well, the sky's always got to be falling 24/7. But what they showed, if any of these people had actually read anything to do with them at all, other than screenshots on the internet like a mindless fucking zombie, they'd have known that not only did Jeffrey Epstein hate Trump, he was working with Democrats behind the scenes to try to make sure he didn't win the fucking election. They would know that it was now documented and solidified beyond the word of the prosecutor back then and some of the law agencies that Trump had worked with them to put him away the first time, that Trump was warning people that the guy's bad news because of this shit. But no, he's the pedophile, guys. It's not the Democrats and the Democrat donors and stuff that were shoved up dude's ass so far that they could smell his colon. It's Trump that was the bad guy, the guy that helped get him busted the first time. Oh, he only did that because he wanted to buy a house or blah, blah, blah. No, he did it because he's a good dude with a conscience. He's the same dude that allowed a homeless woman to stay in Trump Towers after she snuck in and hijacked a room. And then he allowed her to stay there because he felt bad for her. He's the same guy where there are firsthand accounts of black people who wanted to start a business he gave money to as a loan. And when they came in to repay him, he asked, "Do you enjoy what you're doing?" And they said yes. And he said, "Then you don't owe me anything." He's the same guy where there are firsthand accounts of him stopping his limo to help people go get help when they're broke down on the side of the road. How many stories do you hear like that? Do you hear Bernie Sanders doing that? Do you ever heard about fucking Thomas Wormhair Massey doing that? Do you hear about any of these people doing that kind of shit? No. No, you sure as hell don't. He's been a good dude forever. Has he been great as a husband to every wife? No, but that's not a gauge on your character all the time. People make bad choices in those areas of life. But as a person, he's done good deeds his entire life, and he obviously has a conscience when it comes to people abusing children or young women the way that Epstein was, or he wouldn't have bothered working with anyone on that. If he was mad about the house, there was 6 ways from Sunday to get back at Epstein. He could have just offered more money. He had way more money than Epstein did. But we're going to believe that narrative because, some idiot on Reddit said it. Anyway, so there you've got a dude who's been mentally programmed by the media, politicians, and the internet telling him that Trump's a pedophile despite evidence of such. These same people who say, "Oh, Trump has the hots for his daughter. Look, here's a picture of her sitting on his lap." Meanwhile, you've got pictures of the last guy sniffing people's hairs that are well underage, grabbing their hair, groping them on their shoulders like a fucking creep. That guy was just fine. That guy was fine. He's perfectly fine. And they're all brainwashed and they're violent because they are nuts. See, this guy, he's going to go to trial. We'll see what happens with him and end up in prison. He's going to be welcomed as a hero by those prisoners because they all hate Trump too, because Trump stands for law and order. So this guy will be a hero in prison. I guarantee you he's probably in jail right now getting high fives for what he did to this poor old guy who simply supports the opposite candidate that they like. Absolutely disgusting human beings. Like, how do we share a country with these people, y'all? You know where it's going, right? Like, you can see where it's going, right? When they're not trying to kill our president, they're beating up our senior citizens who support him.
Porque yo no les digo nada, o sea, yo no discuto. Cuando yo estoy en la calle nada más enseño un cartelón. No es mi problema si ellos lo leen, o sea, si ellos lo quieren leer, es problema de ellos. O sea, yo no estoy hablando, no estoy haciendo uso de mi free speech.
And there you have it. Now, that was moving a little fast, so let's see. She said, I mean, I don't argue when I'm out on the street. I just hold up a sign. And then she says, it's not my problem if they read it. I mean, if they want to read it, that's their problem, correct? In other words, I'm not speaking. I'm not making use of my freedom of speech. And yet, her husband's now fighting for his life in the hospital for doing what he wants with his own property, first and foremost, which you should be able to do in a free country. But you can't do it in a free country when there's communists that you share it with, when there's violent, militant, left-wing retards who have no impulse control that you share the country with. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you today. Please, again, another video where I'm saying, hey, if you pray, whatever, send that this woman's way or husband's way. And just let's hope that, you know, she said she didn't think he's going to make it, but maybe he'll pull through, right? Maybe he'll pull through. He's 69. That's not that old to where he maybe can't pull through. Let's hope that happens. And let's hope he turns out where he's in good shape afterwards. And let's hope he keeps holding up them signs and puts all the ones back that the little retard ripped down. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.